Good evening to each of you. Pray that you're well. Hope you had a great day. Thank you for calling in, not calling in. Thank you for tuning in. I'm thinking about my prayer call. Yeah, y'all start calling in my prayer call on Monday morning if you ain't calling. So that's a good plug for that. That's a good recovery for a faux pas. Hope and trust that you're well. Psalm 23. Psalm 23, verse number 4. Listen, let me welcome those of you who are viewing via Facebook Live, those of you who are on YouTube Live, and those of you who have called in via the telephone, via live stream on the phone for calling in. That's a new addition to our streaming. You can call in to listen on the telephone, 1-866-940-4925. So please pass that information around to friends and family if they're driving, stuck in traffic, don't have access to a laptop, a computer, or smartphone. They can call in and listen to Bible study live and worship on Sunday morning live. Amen. So thank you all for calling in. I pray that you're well. Now, Lord, bless and breathe on our time together. It's in your name we do pray. Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen. I want to just read a line from Psalm 23, verse number 4. And I'm reading from the NIV version of the Word of God. Even though I walk through the darkest valley. Actually, going to stop right there. That's good. Even though I walk through the darkest valley. I want to talk about tonight, are you learning while you're walking? No. Are you learning while you're walking? Good evening to each of you. Hey, Reggie, it's you. I see you, buddy. Are you learning while you're walking? None of us want to deal with valleys. None of us want to deal with rough times, tough times. None of us want to deal with death. I was just talking with a gentleman here, and we were just discussing how death is just running rampant. There is very seldom that you hear anything good anymore. It's always something usually rough, tough. Somebody's sick, somebody died, somebody's in the hospital, somebody's going through calamity. It's always some kind of issues. And if you're honest, and I like being transparent, I really like to hang out on the mountain. Mountains, good times, sunshine, life is good. That's where I really like to hang out. Everybody's well, nobody's dying, nobody's down, nobody's depressed, nobody's committing suicide, nobody's in therapy, everybody has money and resources. That's just, it sounds good. And I really wish that could be our story. all of the time, some of the time, most of the time. But I've discovered in the last several years of my life, there are certain lessons you learn in the valley that you'll never learn on the mountain. There are just certain things that God cannot teach you in days of sunshine. There are just some things you won't get, some things you cannot internalize, some things you cannot learn when everything is well. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news tonight, but I think most of you know this if you're over at least 30. There is a valley assigned to you. There is a valley with your name on it. There is a season of life where things just won't work out the way you thought. There is a time in your life that you will have to endure, or you have endured, or you are enduring right now, or you will endure soon, that the phone calls just don't bring good news. Somebody's always sick, dying, bills are past due. And guess what? There may be some folk in your life who act like things are always well. They're lying. They're putting on. And don't fall for the old okie doke. Because if you aren't careful, you'll think you're the only one in the valley. And you'll feel like as if there's nobody else going through like you're going through. And yet there's always somebody worse off than you are. So let's just thank God it is what it is. But there is a valley. But the question I want to raise tonight is, are you learning while you walk through the valley? Valley is normally the darkest moments of our lives, the roughest patch. Stuff don't seem to work out. Never have quite enough money. There's always something rough and tough and bad going on. Valleys. Children just going totally astray to the teaching that you've taught them in their lives. Spouse acting crazy. Something in the house broke. Personal sickness, taking care of a loved one who's sick that's bothering you mentally. Your own mortality is before you because you're aging and you're getting old and you aren't as young and as spry as you used to be. And so all of these things are in your head, in your psyche. And so again, tonight I want to ask you, what are you learning? Now, here it is. You're in the valley because guess what? All of us are in one of three categories. Either we're coming into a valley, we're in a valley right now, or we're on our way out. But all of us are a part of those three. You're either coming in, you're already in there, or you've been in there, now you're on your way out. But again, what are you learning while you're there? Because guess what? The only people who come out of the valley are the people who have learned the lesson while they were in the valley. So I know it's rough. I know it's tough. I know you're having a hard time. It's a rough season, but here it is. You're complaining, but are you learning? You're whining, but are you learning? You're griping, but are you learning? You're having a pity party, but are you learning? You are doing everything perhaps but what you're supposed to be doing, and that's learning. Because God doesn't take you through just to take you through. He takes you through to reveal some things, to mature you, to order your steps. So again, and I get it, you ain't by yourself, trust me. I've had many pity parties, I've complained a whole lot. Whatever I just said to you is things I did, but guess what? It wasn't until I had a revelation from God, because here is the piece. When you stay in the valley for so long and you don't come out, something makes you ask, why am I here? Or why am I still here? And you're still there because guess what? You hadn't learned the lesson yet. Now that could be for several reasons. Maybe you aren't paying attention. Maybe you aren't trying to learn. Maybe your valley is elongated because your blessing is much bigger and God has to leave you there longer in order to prepare you for what's next in your life. I don't know. But I do know you're there for a reason. And I do know that if you don't learn the lesson in this course, guess what? You're going to summer school. If you don't learn the lesson in this course, you, ma'am, you, sir, are going to summer school. And if you flunk summer school, you're going to repeat this course over again. So it behooves you, it would behoove you rather, to learn what you need to learn while you are in here so you can move forward. Because the longer you put it off, trying to drink it away, smoke it away, sex it away, buy it away, complain it away, gripe it away, guess what? You're going to keep on going in circles. You remember that song? You got me going in circles. Round and round I go. That might be you tonight. You're going in circles. Round and round you go. It ain't about nobody else. It's about you. You have failed to realize and to learn what God, and here it is. You are asking God for something bigger, and God says, no, you can't handle what's bigger until I take you down there. Because if I give you what's bigger too soon, either it will destroy you or you will destroy it. So I want to just share some stuff with you, and then I'll let you go. Number one, put it up, miss. Immaturity keeps you from self-evaluating. Immaturity keeps you from self-evaluating. Because here it is, you will find every reason and everyone to blame for you being there. And guess what? It's not about them. Not about them. I said this Monday, and I'll say it again because I'm at a point in my life, I'm transparent now, and it is what it is, and I really don't fear repercussions at this point in my life. When I got to this church 17 years ago, it'll be 17 years, the fourth Sunday in July. 17 years. Can you believe that? 17 years. When I got here 17 years ago, I was a decent preacher, but I was a very immature pastor. And God had to take me through some stuff. I had to go through betrayal, denial, broken heart, folk not talking, folk not speaking, folk being what church people are and who they be. It ain't, it is what it is. But in my immaturity, guess what? I blame them. They did this to me. They said that about me. They turned their back on me. They shared information that I shared with them. I put everything off on them. And I was mad, I was bitter, I was angry, I preached mad. And I had to ask God to forgive me for that. And folk were always calling me, Pastor so-and-so said this, and they said this, and I don't care what they say. And that's why you got to be careful with calling your pastor, because sometimes you just make them worse. Yeah, just pray for us. Don't call us with the junk. Don't call us with that. It messes with us. That's for free. But anyway, I put it all off on them. And I was in that valley, and I kept on saying, why am I here? And why can't I get out of here? And then one day God said, because you ain't learning nothing. You're pointing the finger at her and him and them. And guess what? It ain't about her, him, or them. What they have done and are doing is what I've allowed them to do to grow you and mature you. But I didn't want to self-evaluate, because guess what? When you evaluate yourself, it is in that moment you see stuff you don't want to see about you. You see your immaturity. You see the ways that aren't pleasing to God. And I don't care who you are, one of the hardest things there is to do is look at yourself in the mirror. Or sit in a room that's totally quiet. And some of y'all can't handle quiet rooms because guess what? Your mind plays with you. But sometimes God puts you in the position of valley and quietness and self-reflection because he is trying to grow you. And so once I started trying to evaluate me and stop worrying about who didn't like me, who wasn't saying amen, who wasn't rolling their eyes at me, who wouldn't speak, and who said this and who said what, that was weighing me down. But guess what? I was always pointing the finger at them, and it wasn't about them. They were simply pawns in the play that God was using to grow me, and guess what? They had no clue they were helping me grow. So before you blame other people for what they've done to you while you're in that valley, co-worker, the boyfriend, the wife, the ex-wife, the husband, baby daddy, baby mama, all that old foolishness. How about you take some time to evaluate yourself? Because guess what? If you're in the valley, it ain't about nobody but you. Now, your immaturity makes it about ex-husband, ex-wife, pastor, church member, who you're mad at, who you don't like, who don't talk to you, who you ain't talking to. That's immaturity. But immaturity keeps you from saying, maybe it's me. Maybe if I shut up, it'll get better. Maybe if I change how I operate, it'll change. Yeah, well, they don't speak. Okay, well, they don't speak. That don't control you. They evil. They've been evil. They're messy. They've been messy. They ain't gonna change. And that's in your family, at your job, at church, in your clique, in your circle, in the marketplace. Guess what? People are people, but guess what? The valley is the place where God said, I want you to evaluate yourself. Because you spend so much time talking about them and what they do and what they said and how they act. Guess what? You ain't never talking about you, what you did. It's always like people who love to cry and whine and gripe when they have been offended. But guess what? They never talk about who they offended. It's the people who love to talk about, I'm overlooked, he hurt my feelings. But guess what? You never bring up whose feelings you hurt. You know why? Because we don't like to evaluate. It's easy for me to point the finger at you, because that means I pass the responsibility off to you. But guess what? When I constantly pass the responsibility off to you, I ain't learning nothing. And the less I learn, guess what? The longer I stay in that place called valley. And God is saying, I'm trying to help you, but you're hard-headed. You don't listen. You're one-dimensional. You want to blame them for it all. They are the root and the cause of all of your trouble. And God says, no. Because here it is. People only do and say what God allows. And when God wants to shut it and them down, he can do that. Ask Pharaoh. But he allowed them to do what they do because guess what? He is trying to get you to self-evaluate while you're there. One of my friends called me, and she was having some trouble out of her boss in education. And while working from home, her boss was still she sent me a text, said, hey, Doc, listen, man, pray for me, because I don't want to say the wrong thing and lose my job. But this woman getting on my nerves. And I can feel it through the text message. And I said, hey, yeah, I'll do that. I'll pray for you. You know, I'll cover you in prayer, because she's a great supporter of ministry, whatever. And then I sent her a line, and I said this. I said, now, while you're praying, ask God, what is he trying to show you about yourself? Ask God, what is he trying to reveal to you about you? Because guess what? This ain't about her. It's about you. Because God grows us, well, he will challenge us in areas that we're weak in to grow us. And then once I said that to her, she had a revelation. That this wasn't about the boss, the lady. It's about her. And I think some of you right now tonight, I hope you're hearing God tonight. That you're blaming the co-worker, the boss, the church members, family. It ain't about them people, man. It's about you. And you got to evaluate yourself. Where you're weak, where you're limited, where you're immature. And guess what? Some stuff you may learn about yourself, you might not, you ain't gonna like it. You're not gonna like it. But I promise you, that's the first step of you getting out that valley. I promise you that. So stop blaming them. Now let me show you why I say God controls. Because you do know the only reason why Pharaoh did what he did is because God hardened his heart. You see, God controls hearts. God can soften hearts. God can harden hearts. God can make the person you least expect bless you. Or he can make the person you thought who was going to bless you not bless you. That's why the folk you think you can count on, you can't count on. And the folk you thought you couldn't count on, you can count on. You know why? Because God controls hearts. It ain't about how much they love you or if they down with you or loyal to you. No, it's God. Because here it is. Some folk who you think down ain't down. And some folk who you think loyal ain't loyal. It's a facade. But it ain't about them, it's about you. God is trying to show you, man, I'm trying to help you But you got to take some time while you're in this place called Valley to evaluate or reevaluate where you are in life, in Him. Do I make sense? If I make sense, tell me I make sense. Because I can't hear y'all on this computer screen. So y'all talk to me in the thing here. Y'all talk to me. Don't leave me out here by myself, children. Talk to me. All right. Now, secondly, you're gonna like this. God uses divine agitators to assist us in our growth. God uses divine agitators to assist us in our growth. Listen, church, you cannot mature with everyone loving you. You cannot mature with everyone being in your place of approval. Can't do it. Everybody love you. Everybody adore you. Everybody like you. Everybody loving on you, bragging on you. You can't grow like that. No. God allows some people to be sandpaper in your life. Sandpaper. God allows some people to be poison ivy and poison oak in your life. Just irritates you. Listen, when I was 23, 24, we got married, Nick and I got married in March or whatever. Yeah, March. And the next month I got called to my first church. But guess what? I got called to my first church in the hospital. They called me in the hospital. You know why? I had the chicken pox in my 20s. And there was an outbreak in my hometown and some people were dying because guess what? They can become internalized and then you could die. Broke out horrible. Nothing could touch me. Nobody could touch me. It was horrible. It was just like my skin was just, it was horrible. It hurt. It was irritable. And there are some people in your life who are just like that. But guess what? They're supposed to be there. And God has placed them there. And God will move them in due season if He chooses to, or He'll move you. Listen, Pharaoh was supposed to do what Pharaoh did because there was a bigger picture that God was trying to paint. Because God hardened Pharaoh's heart so he could get the glory and show Egypt who was really in control. I know they bother you. God knows. I know you hate to see them coming. I know you wish you could just disappear. By nature, I'm an introvert. Now, I don't know how God calls people who are introverted to be pastors or whatever, but He does. I ain't by myself. There are many pastors who are introverts, which means after I'm around people for so long, I can't talk on the phone long. I can, but it's draining. And so what I have to do is I have to detach. Like if I'm around people for 2 hours or more, I got to detach. I got to go off somewhere and breathe and gather myself, my energy back and come back out among people. Now, I hope she don't get mad at me because I'm about to reveal a secret. I get this from my mother. My mother is introverted. My mother loves people, but guess what? Sister will shut down too in a minute. And I remember growing up on Saturday mornings, we would go to the grocery store, Super One Foods. And Mama, please don't, because I know she's gonna get me. She gonna get me, Doc. I remember going to the grocery store, and my mother saw a lady in the store on the aisle, but before the woman could see Mama said, "Child, come on here. I don't feel like being bothered today. I don't want to be bothered with her today." And that's where I get that from. Child, I look here, I will duck you. Let me tell you something. Man, look, I see you. I'm gone, Doc. I'm not today, Doc. I don't feel like it. I ain't got it today. I don't want to hear it today. I don't have it. I really would, and guess what? You know I ain't lying. I'm sure some of y'all the same way, man. Y'all be ducking folk too. Pick that phone up like, oh, Lord, what she want today? Jesus Christ, she called me yesterday. What do he want now? You know what I'm saying? But guess what? There's some people, God says, I put them there not to like you. I don't want them to like you. And I don't care how much you apologize, how often you try to be methodical and bringing them the olive branch of peace, they ain't gonna like you. You know why? Because I have hardened their heart against you on purpose. Because guess what? The more they agitate you, the more you gonna pray. The more they bother you, the more you're going to pray. The more they talk, the more you're going to talk to me. The more they talk about you, because guess what? I use them to talk about you so you can talk to me. Because guess what? If they didn't talk about you, guess what? You wouldn't talk to me. If they wouldn't bother you, you wouldn't read my word. If they wouldn't give you hell at church, on that job, in your family, in that house, you wouldn't talk to me and pray and fast and sup with me like you do. So I use people to divinely agitate you so I can grow you and mature you. Because guess what? There may be something bigger up ahead. But if you can't handle them, you can't handle what's down the road. If you can't handle Deacon so-and-so and Bruh so-and-so at this church, you can't handle the one I got bigger for you down the road. If you can't handle that little crazy, jealous white girl on that job, guess what? You can't handle when I make you vice president. If you can't handle a jealous sister or brother crabbing you, and I know you think all black folk should support you and love you, Black Lives Matter. Some Negroes are jealous. Some Negroes are hateful. They hate God is blessing you. They hate God has gifted you. They hate the blessings God has put in your life, and they gonna talk about you. They gonna lie on you. They gonna plot on you. They gonna try to ruin you before the boss, the church, the family, and people. But guess what? That's what God is using to guess what? Because guess what? Sometimes God has to break your heart to break you, to bless you, to mature you. So guess what? It could be God is saying, I'm letting them do this on purpose, because the blessing down the road is bigger, it's larger, it's more people, more responsibility. And if you can't handle this, that's going to destroy you. So I'm going to let them do it. No, I ain't going to kill them. Not yet, no way. I ain't gonna. I'm gonna leave them right there. She gonna keep on rolling her eyes. I don't care what you do. She ain't gonna like you. You can bring a cake. You can bring her some pecan candy. You can bring her some chili. She gonna eat your food. Still ain't gonna like you. Because see, some of y'all try to bring corporate America to church or whatever. No, they ain't gonna like you. They ain't gonna like you. You know, I don't care how methodical you try to be. God said, I don't want him liking you. I don't want her. No. In the board meeting at work, yeah. She gonna say something to irk your nerves. Because God want to see, can you take that bullet and shut your mouth? God's gonna see. That fool gonna say something. He can't help it. But it ain't about the fool. It's about God saying, can you take that shot and still smile? Let me tell you something, folks. Whenever people realize they can dictate your personality and your mood, you lost. You lost, man. You lost. You lost. You lost. You lost. And how you say, I hear you, God, why you won't move her? He ain't supposed to move her, not yet. He's not gonna move her or him. And sometimes he don't move them, he'll move you. He'll move, here was the joy. He'll move you and bless you in front of them. He prepares a table. God used them to bless you. Yes, it ain't comfortable, man. Trust me. It ain't comfortable. You're talking to a guy who's pastored 3 churches. It ain't comfortable. It's uncomfortable. And I ain't just talking about pastors. If you lead people in any capacity, or if you are among people, or if you have a job, because guess what? It's some family folk that irritates you. And God will use people with your last name to irritate you and grow you and make you pray. I can't tell you who it is and what, but guess what? They're there for a purpose. And God is saying, no, I ain't moving them. No, nope. Because I'm teaching you something. I'm using them to help you. But if you're looking after your flesh, you'll always have that victim mentality. They're picking on me. They don't like me. They ain't gotta like you. You know why? Because promotions don't come from the east, west, north, south, or the hands of people. Favor and promotion comes from the hand of God. So nothing they say or do can stop you from getting what God has for you. But here it is. God is not going to let you out of that valley until he is sure that you can handle and that you are prepared for that blessing. Because here it is. The worst thing that could happen to you is for you to beg God for something, then God give it to you, and then you can't handle it. You didn't beg, prayed, fasted, bothered God for 6 years, and God finally said, okay, that's fine. God knows you can't handle it, but guess what? Sometimes God will give you what you want. And then once you get it, you be like, man, I don't even want this. Because some stuff you want cause you more stress, more pain. It's more money, but it's more hell too. So stop looking at this as they don't like me. They ain't supposed to. They ain't supposed to like you. And I hear you saying, well, I hadn't bothered her. No, you didn't, but God bothers her to bother you so you can talk to him. But he don't know me. He don't have to know you. His assignment is to agitate you. That's why when people say, I don't know her, but I don't like her, and they give you attitude, and you're looking like, she don't know me. He don't know me. What's his problem? That's divine agitation. Now, how many folk can testify in that comment section? If there are some people that before you talk to, you got to pray first. Come on now, you got to take a deep breath and say, okay, God, here they are. Help me. Because you don't want to mess up and get in your flesh. Then you're going to miss what it's all about. Okay, I'm done when I tell you this. I'm done when I tell you this. Let you go. If you don't learn the lessons, you repeat the course. I'm done. That's it. God bless you. If you don't learn these lessons, you're going to repeat the course. You're going to have to learn how to function in this valley. Yea, though I walk through the valley, season of darkness, trial, tribulation, death, grief, calamity, unemployment, whatever it is, I ain't there to be there. I'm there to learn. And some of y'all are there, but you ain't learning nothing. You just there. And you keep on repeating the same course. And now you're mad because other folks been finished the course and gone on. But you still right there. I know you're walking, but are you learning? Are you learning? This is when you know you're learning. You know you are learning when you can give someone else advice not to make the same mistakes you made. That's when you know you're learning. You know you're learning when that Negro can smart off and you just smile. It's like, okay. You know you're learning when people are being petty and vindictive on purpose. And you be like, hey, man, you don't want to talk to me, Doc? I'm good. Yeah, I ain't about to lose no sleep because you ain't text me back or call me back. Trust me, I'm good. And guess what? When you can say that without being sarcastic with something in your heart, you really mean that. You ain't being petty. You ain't being vindictive. You ain't throwing no shot. You like, hey, man, yeah, I saw your little comment on Facebook, but that's you silly. God bless you. You wanted me to respond. I ain't responding to that. I got to tell it's a pandemic. It's COVID. People dying. People getting shot and killed on the street because they're black. You think I'm gonna reply to that foolishness? I'm just happy I'm here. And I ain't got time to do with the petty. You be petty and silly and immature with your old silly self all by yourself. I ain't a child, please. You ain't gotta never talk to me. I was living before I met you. And you ain't talking, child, please. Matter of fact, that's less people I gotta talk to anyway. I don't like talking no way. That's fine. You know why? Because that's what God is trying to show you. God is saying, I want you to rely on me like you rely on them. And I want you to value talking to me as much as you value talking to them. And I want you to miss talking to me as much as you miss talking to them. I want you to commune with me as much as you want to hang out and talk and gossip with them. But if you don't learn these lessons, folks, you're going to repeat this course over and over again. And guess what, folks? It's time to graduate. It's time to graduate, man. I don't mean this disrespectful, but I've made a bunch of mistakes at this church. Immaturity, mouth, temper, I had to grow up. Don't look at me funny. You had to grow up too. Don't judge me. And some folk, whatever, But guess what? I needed that. Now, I don't know why God has taken me through that these last 17 years, but wherever God sends me next, I can handle it. I can pass it in hell now, I believe. And I mean that. And I ain't mad, and I ain't angry at nobody. That's how you know you've grown. When you can say, yeah, what they said was for my good. What they did, I needed that. They didn't speak. It broke my heart, but guess what? I needed that. They lied, they talked, they clicked, they rumored, and guess what? It hurt, but guess what? I needed it. Because God was saying, I'm trying to get you to a point to know they ain't protecting you, I'm protecting you. They ain't covering you, I'm covering you. So I'm trying to help you, church. And again, I believe this. God takes you through these valleys because he's trying to teach you something. Because guess what? It's promotion time. Don't know when, don't know how, but it's promotion time. Yeah. Yeah. So when you graduate, have a party. When God opens the door, see, that's when it'll hit you. Joe, when God opened that door, you'll say, that's why. That's why he took me through that. That's why. That's why I had to go through that. That's why. That's why. Because here it is. Every fool in your life now, God says, I'm letting you deal with this fool because guess what? There is a bigger fool down the road. And so I'm going to teach you through something with this fool. So the next fool come at you, you be like, man, look here. I done dealt with one of you already. So I ain't, okay, Doc, bless you. But you got to learn. And if you don't learn, you are bound to repeat the course over and over again. And child of God, it's time for you to come out that valley. It's time for you to learn the lessons and grow and mature and say, God, I get it. I get it. I get it. So I'm done. Keep walking. Don't stop. Even though I walk through, you don't pitch a tent there. You're going through. Okay? King James said, even though I walk through. And I like NIV, both. You can leave it up, but it's both. Even when I walk through the valley. Because guess what? It's coming, man. You can't avoid it. You can't shut it away. You can't give it away. You can't fast away from it. And I know sometimes you say, well, man, I want God to deliver me from stuff. Man, listen here. If God would have delivered me from everything I asked him to, I wouldn't know nothing. It is only because God ignored my request and said, no, yes, until you gonna learn today. Yeah, you gonna stay right here and you gonna learn. And once you learn, I'll push you forward. Once you learn, I'll move them out the way. Once you learn, I'll promote you. Once you learn, you'll get the job. But you have to learn. And always know this. Special assignments come with special valleys. And some of y'all mad and jealous and envious of other folk. But guess what? I always say this about Dr. West, and I'm through. Dr. West, Ralph West. Preachers always love to talk about how great Doc is, and trust me, Doc is my all-time favorite preacher. Even before I met him, he was my favorite. But here's the problem. Folk always see the Reverend Dr. Ralph West now, but they missed the one who got put out of his church on his installation day. They missed the one who got put out of the church because he wanted to cut a tree down. They missed the one who had a Datsun at 6'5", Doc, in a Datsun, two-door. So they see the wrath now. And guess what? Half of them couldn't endure what he endured to get where he is now. He didn't just get there. He had to go through valleys to get there. And if you're going to get there, you're going to have to go through valleys. Amen. Amen. Listen, I'm done. Yeah, podcast. If you got Apple products, go to your iTunes and follow WAJ Ministries on Apple Podcast. Sermons are there. They're free. You can listen to them as often as you want to. If you got Android products, you can look on Spotify and download the podcast. Again, I think there are sermons and maybe some videos in due season. You can listen to them as often as you please. I need you all to do me a favor. Even if you watch me on Facebook Live, do me a favor. Go to YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube page, WAJ Ministries. Even if you on YouTube, follow me on Facebook, please, ma'am, please, sir, if you can, just go and follow me on YouTube as well. I need you to follow me on YouTube. Even if you don't watch it, just go follow. And it's for a reason. So I'm asking you to do that for me. I don't ask much of you, but please, ma'am, please, sir. Again, podcast, Android, Spotify, iTunes, Apple. We're trying to make this as convenient as possible for everybody in this season of pandemic. Listen, y'all, pandemic ain't gone. COVID ain't gone nowhere, okay? As a matter of fact, Texas itself has had its highest numbers in the last week. And probably because of the protesting that we've done across the country, the numbers I'm sure will spike. So please be careful. Please be careful. I know we living like everything is good, everything ain't good. So please be careful, wear your mask, wash your hands, social distancing, stop having the fish fries and the throwbacks at the house, kickback at the house. Just kind of chill out by yourself with your people, all right? Also, Brother Stanley Davis, his funeral will be Saturday at 12:30 at Fraser Mitchell Funeral Home. I think that's limited to 25 people, probably family. But if you want to view his remains, you can do so Saturday from 12 to 12:30. 10 people at a time. You'll have to view and leave. We love him. We miss him. I sorely missed him when I got here Sunday morning. But God knows what he is doing. I think that's all. Okay, you can give. We have a new Cash App. New Cash App. It's up and running. You can give on the Cash App. You can give tithely, and you can give via the website. And again, let me say this. I asked you all rather, to, if we don't have the information, phone numbers, email address, and your names, etc., for our database, go on the website and do that. Now, some of y'all people, country people in this church, just went on there and put your email address. You ain't leave no name. You ain't leave no phone number. You just left your, how are we supposed to know who you are? Huh? Put your name, put your phone number, put your email, so we'll know who you are. All right? Help us. I'm trying to build a database so I can talk to y'all once a week, yeah. And if you ain't got your stuff in, mail it in, inbox me on one of the ministry pages, so we'll get your stuff. I'm trying to talk to y'all once a week. There's a little word of hope to members of our church, but I need the proper information. All right. I love you. I miss you all. But again, as much as I miss you all, I won't have church until it's safe. Again, there is a local pastor in our city. He, his family, and members of his church all have COVID-19 now. They kept having church, I think. And so we got to be, faith ain't foolish. Okay? So we got to be wise in what we do. I love you all. I miss you all. But we will not reassemble until the church has been properly cleaned, until things are in place, and until there is a minimum threat of sickness among people of color. Amen. Especially older people with underlying health conditions. All right. So stay safe. I love you all. All right. Have a good day.